Do you believe in miracles? I used to not, or at least I questioned it for a while. But now I can say I honestly do. Looking back over my life, there have been plenty of opportunities for me to question this, plenty of opportunities for me to doubt and wonder, about God or the existence of something greater than me. But I have to tell you, after reevaluating my life, and after this latest incident that I will share with you, I absolutely have to say I believe in miracles. Now, why this is important is because of our faith. And faith in what? Like, if we have no faith, no trust in anything, kind of what's the point, right? Where are we going? Are we just existing? Or are we going to thrive and choose and develop and design lives that we enjoy, lives that we love? Um, because just existing is not fun. And I've definitely been there too. Um, but so the idea of miracles, a little bit about my own journey. Um, just the fact that I'm here is a complete miracle on so many levels. I did so many stupid things as a teenager that by all rights I probably shouldn't be here. Um, but the fact that my healing journey began, and I was literally on the point that I could not get out of bed to go to the bathroom without having severe physical ailments because of it. And here I am, I'm active, I garden, I do things with my children, I'm alive and I'm living in itself is a miracle. Um, Looking back over my marriage, my husband had a 1,500 pound round bale of hay. So if you don't know how much hay weighs, it's as much as a car, right? And I had no idea that grass weighed that much until this experience. But it was the first, so with, not the first year that we were married, but right into the second year. So we'd been married right at a year. He had this hay drop on him, fall from 14 feet in the air. It was double stacked on a truck. And the miracles that came out of that, he was released from the hospital with a broken neck, with his abdominal wall torn off of his pelvis, and many other injuries within a week. And the doctor said, I don't really know what's going on here, but there's nothing else we can do for him in the hospital. So it's just going to take healing. So my husband was sent away with injuries, broken necks, that there was someone in the hospital at the same time, also a hay incident, had the same fracture, that was paralyzed from the neck down. And he said that particular set of injuries, that even survival was like a 1% chance. So here he is beating odds and beating more odds in that. So I look at that, and that's definitely been an area of miracles that we experienced. Our first daughter, she was born not breathing and no heartbeat, and there she is, and she's okay. And so all of that situation. Then there was an incident in our marriage that there was a baby that we knew that had drowned, and they had resuscitated him, but he was like almost brain dead. And we prayed and we prayed, and we went and visited and prayed for the family, prayed for the baby, and he ended up dying. And I went through that. That was the first time that I think I ever really truly doubted or questioned um, my God, my Creator, my this entity that I'd been believing in and having faith in all of my life. Whether or not I acted in it was on me, but that was the first time I ever had that question. Um, Another time that I really struggled was when I lost. I ended up losing 4 babies total through miscarriage and like ectopic pregnancies. So lots of trauma there, lots of questioning, lots of hurt, lots of being fearful, being scared, being confused. and questioning. I didn't know what to believe. Is this really what's going on? And are you really there if this is going on? So, through all of that and through the healing that I've done, I've come to this understanding that I don't understand it all. I don't see the whole picture. And I had this beautiful imagery come to me of a quilt. And if you've ever quilted, if your grandmother ever quilted, you might see like the little stitches that when you get really close, they look really ugly and really messy. But when you pull it back and you see the big picture, you're not focused on the little mess. And for me, that was a great comfort in knowing, you know what, I don't understand. And that understanding that his ways are not our ways, I really had to just trust that and go, okay, I don't see the big quilt. I don't see this big picture that you see, and how this much hurt and this much fear, this much confusion can be good. And I honestly can tell you, I don't understand all of that. I don't understand why young people die with cancer. I don't understand why anybody dies with cancer. I don't understand it, but I know, I just know, I have that faith that there's something bigger than me that is there, that is for our good, our ultimate good of our souls, of that redemption process, and however it comes out in the flesh. There's that could be a whole nother talk on that. But I really wanted to emphasize the fact that miracles, y'all, I can't tell you like Mike's accident. Even after that, my middle daughter had picked up a sewing pin, right? And she put it in her mouth, and I was standing there looking at her, and she did something. She sat up tall and she inhaled and she swallowed a sewing pin. Okay, scared mama moment again. So I take her to the local hospital, which doesn't deal with pediatric GI stuff. So they had to transport her to the next hospital. So it was hours before we got her to a surgeon. She had eaten that morning, didn't eat anything after that, obviously. And after the doctor came out of surgery, he's like, it got stuck like right in it didn't go into her, it didn't go into her smaller intestine. So it stuck right in the top of it. And she said, or the doctor said to me, he said, she ate a tremendous amount of food. There's so much food in there that it kept that pin from going down. And I was like, I think she had cereal or something for breakfast that morning. But it literally was not, she didn't eat a tremendous amount of food. So whatever it was, why her digestive system wasn't working, stopped that pin from traveling down into her small intestine, which would have been a layer open. We got to go in, remove that part of the intestine, like a much deeper thing than going down with a scope and pulling the pin out. So I kept seeing miracles, right? And just things happening in our lives that we couldn't have planned. We had no control over whatsoever. But the latest one, and the one that really spurred this, is this weekend. We live on a farm. We have goats. We have a septic tank. Well, it had been off. We were working on it, and the lid didn't get put back on. No blame to anybody. But the goat, so we had a kid, a little goat, and she fell down in it. And of course, there's the panic. There's the blame. The septic tank didn't get covered back up. So there was all of those ego thoughts going on in my head when this happened. And this experience was so overwhelming. Like, there was a baby goat in the septic tank, and I couldn't see her. And at one point she swam by us, and we're like, okay, what do we do? Well, we were all out there, me, my 3 girls, and my husband. And one of the girls goes, "Well, Dad, don't you have a lasso?" We didn't think of it. So, one of the girls suggested it. Um, so anyway, we get this lasso and we get it in there. And at this point, she's gone, and I have no idea where she is. We can just hear her. And she's like, I had a piece of flexible pipe or something, and I was reaching way back down in there, and I couldn't feel her, but I was trying to get her to come this way. And finally, like, I had those moments of, crap, she's gonna drown in sewage. And so I got that defeated kind of feeling, and I was like, no. And it hit me, and I was like, no. And I started calling out, and I was like, Father, I said, if you were there, if this is, I said, I didn't even say if you were there. I didn't question it at that point. It was very much she's going to swim over here with confidence, with clarity of knowing exactly where to go in this loop that we have in a hole. I mean, it's a manhole size, and I had my head stuck down in it. So that was all sorts of fun. And there was all sorts of ego stuff going on in my brain. My husband, because he had done it, because he had left it off, like, there was a lot of guilt playing through his mind, and he kind of shuts down when he gets overly emotional. And I just had to take over. So there's all this stuff going on. But in this moment of make her swim over here, pull her over here, however you have to do that, just get her over here in this loop. And we get this loop set, and this goat starts swimming. And she swims right into the hole of the loop, and we get her out. And this was after 30, 45 minutes of really working and, trying all the other things. But she swims right over, and she stops. It dawns on me somewhere in this process that this water was well over her head. From how far I'd stuck a PVC pipe down in there earlier, it was probably 5 to 6 feet deep, at least. So I don't know where she was. I don't know what she was doing to stay above water, but she came over, and we pulled her out, and we washed her off, and we gave her antibiotics, and she's fine. It's been 2-3 days now, and she's running around the backyard following her mom. So that was so big for me. Just the miracle of me stating this. She's going to do this. She's coming over here, and there she comes. And I was like, wow. But then, like, all the small details of my ego getting upset with my husband to begin with because he needed to check out. But then I understood we all had our role, because there was one point that I looked over and he was standing there praying. And I knew that's what he was doing, because that's all he knew to do. You can't really fit 5 people in a septic tank hole. But then I had one daughter that was encouraging, and she was cheering on. And then the other daughter that we think similarly in situations like that, she was helping me, like, physically. And so we could communicate. We were on that area. So there were just so many things, but it also showed me places that I need to improve, like the understanding that my husband needed to tap out. So it also showed me that if there's times that I need to tap out because it's not my thing, I don't understand it, that that's not where I need to be, that I need to say no, and I need to give it to somebody who can do it, who is in that place to do it, who thrives in that sort of situation, or not even thrives. I don't thrive in sticking my head in the septic tank. But thrives in, or not even thrives, that's not the right word, but a professional, if you will. And I'm not calling myself a professional goat getter out of the septic tank either. But that idea that somebody who can step in, it's okay to say, this is not for me. Somebody else can do this better. That was one of my big lessons out of that. The other side of that was me being able to see that sometimes people need to step out. And that's okay, because that's what's best for the situation, for each one of us. That's just one of those things. But then also the communication with our family. I mean, it was pretty hectic and there was a lot of screaming going on. I cannot lie. But how can we improve that communication so screaming doesn't have to happen? Or, so that frustration. So it just left me with a big, and I had to wait a few days to process it, to be able to even speak it, because there was so much emotion and so much thought that came from that, yeah, I'm still processing it. But ultimately, the bottom line is I believe in miracles. And yes, it's a goat in a septic tank. And yes, I know there's horrible, horrible, horrible things that happen in our lives. And I fully acknowledge that. And I fully want to tell you that if you've experienced that, any kind of hurt, I don't understand it. And I will never say that I do. I will never try to make you think that you do. Sometimes we're shown that, and sometimes we're given that grace and that mercy to see a bigger picture, and sometimes we're not. And for me, it was that I just have to trust that there is a bigger picture and believe that his ways are not my ways. And I don't understand the big picture. I don't know it all. But I do know that because of all these different, and I just gave you the skim of miracles that we've experienced. But they're huge ones. I mean, my husband wouldn't be here. My daughters wouldn't be here, or would have to have major issues, surgeries, or, all kinds of things that we go through. But anyway, all of this to say, I believe in miracles. I have the faith to know that my Creator is bigger than me, and that his plan is bigger than me. And that gives me the ability to go, you know what? There's something more for me in life. I have a purpose. I have something to do in this life. And if I'm just existing over here, I'm not fulfilling that purpose. And if I don't have the faith and I don't have the trust that I have that purpose and that I have something bigger to do, that I have dreams, that I have goals, that these things that are given to me by my Creator, that I can't achieve them if I don't believe that they're possible. And so ultimately, that's one big circle of why I believe in miracles. Where my journey to being able to say, yeah, this is my experience. And just to trust it and fully walk out my purpose, help anybody else to walk out their purpose that they are there for. Yeah, that's just it. So question is, I asked this question on my Facebook page, and an overwhelming amount of you said yes, you believe in miracles. And for those of you who are questioning it or doubting it or just flat out saying no, you know what? I've been there. And I can say that honestly, that there's been enough hurt in my life that I understand. And I don't, there's no judgment either way on that. But I wanted to share my experience. And I look forward to talking to you all soon.